Hey, what is going on, guys? Talk Norwich City here, back for another video. The last one was up Lion's Head in South Africa. This one's back in TNC HQ in Great Yarmouth. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Sorry for the lack of uploads of recent weeks. I've been on holiday, bit tanned maybe, don't really know. I think I've tanned a bit, it was hot out there. And yeah, back and ready to go. Now, first of all, I want to show you these. Some goalie gloves, not just any goalkeeper gloves. Match worn by John Ruddy, signed and everything, very nice. I didn't just buy them for the sake of buying them. I bought them because Remy Matthews, our third choice goalkeeper, was auctioning them off for Ryan Harmon, who's a local lad. He sadly died of motor neuron disease. Some of the money's going to his funeral, which can be very expensive, and some of it's going to motor neuron charities to try and cure what is a horrible disease. So I put in all of last month's ad revenue, which was £100 and something, and got them in return. So I'm going to try and get them on set or something. I need to make this wall a bit better and more colourful, so I'm going to try and get these up and some other things. But a big thank you to you guys. Without the views and the likes and the shares and the comments, these wouldn't have been possible and we wouldn't have been able to help out. So really cool to give to charity and really cool to get something in return for you guys to see as well. So that's really good. So thank you for that. Anyway, today's video back for a reaction to the David McNally interview, which was conducted by the Little Yellow Bird Project guys, Dan and John. You know Dan and John. I'm sure you do. They've been on the channel multiple times and, well, they're well known in the Norwich City community, but they somehow pulled off an interview with Dave McNally. How? Not quite sure. It's obviously John's flirtatious ways. And it was really, really interesting, and it's gone down so well in the Norwich fan base. And I think because one is they're very funny guys and they interviewed Dave McNally in a way that I wouldn't be able to, or anybody else. I think they pulled it off superbly well in a very relaxed, funny, but concise manner. And they posed some difficult questions to McNally. And because McNally spoke, I mean, McNally's not one for really going into the media too much. And when you do hear from him, it's normally something good. So I want to quickly go over the points that McNally talked about, basically. First of all, he just slagged off Colney. He doesn't think that our training facilities are good enough. He doesn't think they're Premier League standard. And he thinks it's a reason why we're not being able to sign top-class players, which he was very, very honest throughout the whole interview, which really pleased me. And before you guys start asking what are my opinions on Dave McNally, David McNally is a shrewd businessman who knows what he's doing. I think our club's in safe hands with him. I've completely disagreed with some decisions he's made in the past. I think some of the decisions he's made in the past have been absolutely brilliant. He's a man who can't please everyone. I doubt anybody in the Norwich fan base is 100% happy with what he's done over his years at the club. But I think we could all say that what he has done in general has been for the good of the club, and he's got us in a very good position now where we can kick on. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on David McNally. I haven't got anything against him whatsoever. He thinks Colney isn't good enough, basically. He wants to redevelop it starting this summer, so a lot of money's being invested. He talked about a couple of new pitches being laid, a hydrotherapy pool, the dome is being relaid, a brand new 3G state-of-the-art pitch. So all of these things, because what he was saying is people, you know, Carrow Road's a beautiful stadium, but the players are only there once a fortnight. These players are at Colney 5 days a week. They pretty much live at Colney. So if that's not good enough, why are players going to want to join Norwich City? So the redevelopment of Colney, he wants stadium expansion. He said he wants to leave a legacy behind where Norwich City will be playing in a 35,000 to 40,000 seat stadium, which is very pleasing. I think Norwich City have needed to expand their stadium since our last time in the Premier League, really. I mean, we've got 22,000 season ticket holders, which is like, what's that, 90% of the ground? About 90%, I think. With a waiting list, the casual tickets always sell out. We could easily sell out a 32-seat stadium every week, easily. That brings in extra revenue. That gives us that more, that bigger club sort of role. So stadium development, he wants that. He wants Alex Neil at the club for a very long time, which I think is fantastic news. And he also confirmed that Alex Neil has full control and the last say on any transfers in and out of the club, which is great to see. Some managers in the modern game don't have that. So it's good to see that Alex Neil is in charge. And what he said, I thought was so true. He said, if we don't allow Alex Neil to have full control of the players, how is he going to be able to assemble a squad that he wants to play with, sort of thing? And I think that was very good from Dave McNally. He said, even if we go down, which he doesn't expect us to, he thinks we're currently achieving what we set out to do, and he fully expects us to stay up. He will want Alex Neil to stay at the club even if we get relegated, and he would be very disappointed if Alex Neil left for a bigger club or a better proposition or whatever. Maybe a little dig in there for Paul Lambert. I'm not sure. So then it got onto like ticket prices and things, and this was the part of the interview which I think was going to be the toughest for Dave McNally. He handled it very well, very much like a politician, never really answered the question too well, talked about average ticket prices. I think we can all say football is too expensive. Next Tuesday's game against Chelsea for an adult will cost you £50. That's like £1 for every 2 minutes of football, which is ridiculous. And he also talked about the 18 to 21 pricing structure, which I fall into, so that hit a chord with me, saying they need to reevaluate that. The thing is with football is, if I was in Dave McNally's position, needing to balance the books and bring in enough money, is kind of demand. If you're not selling your tickets out, you'll drop the price to get more people in the gate. But we're selling it out every week, so obviously you're going to keep your prices at sky high level or the top possible price. So I don't agree with that, but I can see where Dave McNally's coming from in the point that if we're selling a stadium out, you're going to be charging top prices, and we're seeing Premier League football. But he did then say that an adult season ticket price works out, I think he said about £25 a game, which isn't too bad. I think that's just about fair. So I still think ticket prices need to be reevaluated, which he has said will be done in the 18 to 21 price structure. But I did think he jumped around that a bit. He then talked very logically about the way the club is ran, and back in the Tales of the City book night, which Mick Dennis ran, everyone at that night said we have the best owners in the Premier League, in the country, with Delia and all the rest. And Dave McNally confirmed that. He said we've got the best owners. They're there. They were there at Yeovil. They're there at Chelsea. They were there at Carlisle, they were there at Manchester United. They've followed us through thick and thin. They put lots of money into the club. They support the club fully. But he did also say, we're not a Manchester City. We need to be careful with our money. We can't chuck £15 million at a player if we don't think we're going to get the returns on that, which I also think is very good. He was very honest throughout the whole interview, which was very pleasing to see. He also talked about a better atmosphere at Carrow Road. He said the Carrow Road needs a better atmosphere, which I fully agree with, but he said he didn't know how to address that. He doesn't want to bring back gimmicks like clap banners, which is fantastic news because they were terrible. But he does think that the Carrow Road atmosphere needs improving. For me, you make the Barclays safe standing, you get more young people into the ground who want to make vocal noise, and you already and allow like flags and stuff and maybe drums or something. Just get a bit more of a lively atmosphere, because when you've got stewards telling you to sit down, it's very tough to generate an atmosphere. So Barclay or anywhere, get a vocal section, get a safe standing section, like the E block of the Barclay is trying to do. And I think better atmosphere is there. So Dave McNally, if you're watching, you said you're open to suggestions. Safe standing. Let's talk about that. And also, when we were recruiting Alex Neil, this is the last point I want to pick up on. We shortlisted. There was a list of 450 managers who we were going to pick from. We went up with Alex Neil because Dave McNally talked about his knowledge in Scottish football, having previously worked at Celtic. And yeah, I think he's very thorough in his way of working and all of that. So overall, fantastic interview with Dave McNally. There's the main points and my thoughts on them. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic interview. It gave me a lot more, not trust, but it made me feel content with the way the club's being run. Because I think when Dave McNally, he's a shrewd businessman, he can sometimes maybe come across a bit cold and doesn't really care about the fans. But actually, He loves Norwich City, he cares about the fans, he cares what we think. It's just he sometimes stays out of the light because he's prone to stick, as with every chief executive is. He's never going to win it all. And he said the best he can always do is come out with a draw, which I think is fair enough. But Dave McNally, round of applause to you. John and Dan, round of applause to you. The full interview is in the description. Go and check that out. It's 50 minutes long. It's brilliant. Go and check it out. Follow the Little Yellow Bird Project on Twitter and maybe Facebook if they've got a page. And yeah, go and check them out if you don't already. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave it a like. Leave me your thoughts on the Dave McNally interview. Do you like Dave McNally? Do you don't? What do you think about the ticket pricing, Colney, better atmosphere, the choice of Alex Neil, stadium expansion, all of that good stuff. All of this stuff I talked about in this video. And yeah, I'll see you very soon. Peace out.